dried out tears of sorrow, lacking all emotion, staring down the barrel, waiting for the final gates to open to a new tomorrow, moving with the motion, following the light that sets me
We about to turn it on. Turn it. We about to turn it on. Turn it. We about to turn it on. 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 We about to turn it on. We about to turn it on. Turn it on. Turn it on. About to turn it on. Turn it. We about to turn it on. Turn it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Gym Class Feeders, featuring many of your favorite stars from the LCUS. I am Trufflesaurus, and I'm joined here by my co-casters Prowler and Arcane Soda, and we're here to bring you a great match.
Absolutely, looking forward to seeing some of the premier players in the LCUS hop into just a fun little warm-up game.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if they decide to take some more of the fun picks that we've been seeing in some of the Korean pro play, or if they're going to stick to the standard meta.
Yeah, exactly. This is a fantastic week to see a more relaxed competition between two competitive teams that are willing and able to try and put a little bit more on the line here. Jumping already into Champion Select, we're moving on to our first match of the day, which is Team Sig versus Team Nickel.
Very interesting to see the casters getting to be the captains of gym class feeders for a change after viewing for 2.5 splits. It'll be interesting to see if they've learned enough to compose the better team using our LCS.
Yeah, I'm sure they have some advanced strats that they've been working on. I don't think Kenneth is playing today, but I'd love to see him put his money where his mouth is at with that Karthus pick he keeps talking about.
I think it's about time he brings that. I mean, we get complaints every game that if Karthus was here, it'd be 18-0, but no Kenos means no Karthus today.
We'll have to wait for different gym class feeders.
You wouldn't like to get in the void.
Circling back to that meta conversation that we had started briefly, I do really want to see if we do some of the fun Yi and Herrick stuff that we've been seeing coming out of the LCK and some of the high challenger games that have been happening ever since the most recent setup.
I shall endure.
Yeah, 8.11 seems to be the do whatever you want patch. Lanes are blurred, roles are blurred, and at this point, it will be interesting to see because we're not getting true, bans towards what the LCK's been doing here. If one team just decides to go for it and see how it works for it.
Having said that, let us talk about those bans real quick for a second here. We have 4 bans on the table. We have make that 5. We have a Graves, great jungler, a Kai'Sa, fantastic ADC, and a Fizz. Some of those seem like targeted bans, but the thing about gym class feeders is that you don't know what role players are going to play in. Coming back to our red side ban, to our Team Nickel bans, what we have is a Veigar, a Nivea, and we are waiting on looks like a Master Yi. Hey, there it is, working its way already in.
And you can assume that the Veigar and Nivea bans are almost certainly geared towards Van Hohenheim, who even in gym class feeders manages to pull at least 2 bans.
Something to say about the respect bans, right?
Or low champion pool, if that's what you want to call it. But yeah, Van Hohenheim is scary on all of his preferred champs.
Starting with the Sigtal Lord's Blitzcrank. Oh, this is going to be a good one right off the bat. Those high challenger support mains and their Blitzcrank.
Prowler, would you say that Blitzcrank is his signature pick?
Aha! Actually, I believe his signature pick has switched over to Gragas, but I know he's talked to Blitzcrank. He's been waiting for it to appear in lane. I'm wondering if Sig is actually the support or if he's running that in lane somewhere and we're going to see something really crazy here.
I think when Sig's on Blitzcrank, he's never the support, even in a traditional meta. But Lucian and Lee Sin coming out for Team Nickel here, answered back rapid fire by Zoe coming out for Team Sig. That is one of Van Hohenheim's main go-to champions. So should be
And
good.
one of the fastest lock-ins I've ever seen. You can tell he was sitting there just hovering and just spamming the the pick button, hoping that it would fall to him. Which, no one else plays Zoe, so he knows he's getting. That's terrific. Jarvan also coming through. I'm not sure who on Team Sig is going to be playing Jarvan, and we don't really know who the jungler is, but that's not a fun place to be stuck in that Cataclysm when Zoe's Q is on the move.
You don't even have to... Sorry, go
Judging
ahead.
judging by the fact that Goonstomp has Smite, I'm thinking he might be jungling, so he might be piloting that Jarvan.
Completely fair, or at least he's got Smite for now. It could be just he, played jungler in his last normals game, or lines are blurred here. It's gonna be fun.
No one knows
Or
what's
maybe-
going on, least of all us, right?
Or maybe it's the new Zoe Blitzcrank bot lane with Smite Jarvan in the mid lane.
Nothing makes sense anymore. This is great.
Vayne out of the question right off the bat. I do love with the about the Jarvan pick. I love that they have a Blitzcrank too. That you don't even need to be in the Cataclysm to be trapped in the Cataclysm because if that Blitzcrank catches you.
Oh, you're done. Absolutely. A lot of mobility coming off first. We got, Blitz with his W speed up. We got Lucian with a dash. We have Lee Sin jumping around. Pantheon with his ult. Jarvan with his EQ. There's plenty of movement so far, and not so much versatility with these champions.
I'm going.
They're not flexing anywhere. We know Jarvan's going jungle, but
I know he's running Ignite now. He heard you.
or maybe Ignite is the new, jungle thing you have to take. It's 8.11, folks. No one knows what's
You
going
will
on.
be judged.
All right.
Actually, it's up to 8:12 now.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. In
Oh,
the updated news from 8:11 to 8:12, 8:11 they destroyed 80 carries, and in 8:12 they destroyed the things that made 80 carries better, which is kind of confusing because they already destroyed 80 carries. Shielding supports have now been weakened. They weakened all the shields on most of them, and the shielding and healing items have lower bonuses to shielding and healing now.
Kind of feels like Riot has a grudge that they're just like enacting 2 seasons late. Like. But anyways, back to champion select. We got our 4 bans. We got Vayne, Rumble, and Xerath and Morgana. We have an Echo picked for Team Nickel. Yeah, I got that right. And then Sivir and a Riven comes out.
Wow. A more traditional lineup for Team Sig, the clear supports and top laners and ADCs and whatnot. Team Nickel has...
I am
to be
very
a little more-
disappointed.
Nope.
I am very disappointed.
Relatively normal team comps. Okay.
This is unacceptable. How dare we play traditional League of Legends?
Who even plays traditional anymore? Certainly not the pros.
So, taking a look at what our matchups look like they're going to be. We've got Klagstrong, formerly referred to as Menards, on Riven. Looks like he's going to be matching up top lane against wash-up top laner on Pantheon. That is a very scary opponent in both regards for both teams. Looks like our junglers are going to be Jarvan with that Smite turned Ignite turned Smite. We've got a Lee Sin on Xayah. I think, is that how you pronounce it? Xayah?
Exia?
Exia? Yeah, that's it. Let's get that out of the way real quick.
You probably know this. We've already played against him.
Yeah. And we've got a Lucian Braum in the bot lane, piloted by Ace and Nickel, matching up against a Blitzcrank Sivir, piloted by Evil Envy and Sigtal Lord. And our mid lane matchup is looking like Echo versus Zoe. That would be Brandana versus Van Hohenheim. What do you guys think about the matchups? What are you feeling about the champion and player matchups that we're about to watch unfold?
For me personally, the matchup I most want to see is Van Hohenheim and Zoe against Echo, because it feels like Echo has the counter to Zoe, right? Like you can jump on her, but Van Hohenheim is such a prolific Zoe player. I'm super excited to see how this one turns out.
Yeah, that's a pretty interesting matchup to watch. I think the top lane matchup's going to be pretty interesting as well. Both of them took Ignite, so they really want to go for that pressure in lane and turn into carries for the remainder of the game. Both are very capable of doing it with the shorter game times we've been having on the recent patches. Both very capable of doing a lot of damage and all-inning each other very effectively.
That actually brings up a whole new point that I think is incredibly interesting. We don't have any summoner teleports at all in this entire match. The only global that we have is actually Pantheon's ult, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you're absolutely right there. But we are seeing very mobile champions. Jarvan can zoom around the map. Riven's got little dashes here and there. Lucian with the dash, obviously. Braum can dash to a champion. Echo's got his little, tumble as well.
Zoe can cheat and get a teleport from a balloon minion, so
Very true.
I
might
suppose with to
see
counter
a
that,
couple.
there's always the speed recall into Echo ult back into lane just to
There's been just in my own solo queue games, I did have an Echo that ulted back into danger after just managing to recall away, and I remember face palming or face tabling quite hard.
because not only do you die, but you also lose that cooldown that you just spent to make sure that you could die. Like,
And you're just watching a teammate zoom around the map with his little icon in the bot, right? And yeah, we didn't end up winning that game for obvious reasons.
All right, 30-ish, 35 seconds left here before we get into the to the loading screen here. Any bold predictions from the two of you?
Actually, I wanted to ask both of you quick before we hop in, before we get to the the skin battle here. Is who do you think is the better level 1? Because with a Blitzcrank, you're looking to get it, and you got the Zoe Sleep. But I feel like Braum and Pantheon with their stuns bring so much early on. I'm wondering what you guys think. Who's going to have the better level 1 if we're going to see any shenanigans?
Well, Lucian can also activate Braum's passive really fast, so I think they're both really good, level 1, but I feel like Team Sig has a little bit of an edge because they have the pull and the sleep is just very terrifying to deal with on its own, because the sleep does true damage when you're kicked out of it. And not that you have a lot of resistances at level 1, but it also it locks you in there a little bit longer for the rest of the team to kind of blow you up.
Yeah, you know what? I'm actually going to add to that. I don't know how to get the skins up. This is a fun challenge. Well, guys, we're going radio mode here for a half second. What do we got skin wise? We've got Riot Blitzcrank, Cyberpop Zoe, Darkstar Jarvan, Snowstorm Sivir, and Redeemed Riven. All in all, a solid lineup. That is for Team Sig Lord, our blue team. And then we're going against a Naked Echo, Dragon Fist Lee Sin, Baker Pantheon, Project Lucian, and a Naked Braum. I'm thinking this is a clear winner to the to Team Sig.
Even if both Nickel and Brandana were running skins on Echo and Braum, I'd still have to give it to Team Sig, and that's purely off of Darkstar Jarvan.
Yeah, it is such a fantastic skin.
Yeah, I'm just in absolute adoration of that skin.
Yeah, I've certainly I own that skin for one, and I'm also a huge fan. Well, so we got a couple seconds here. I started off with bold predictions on who's going to win this match. If you don't mind, let's circle back to that. What are the two of you feeling?
Oh, good lord. I'm going to lean towards Team Sig, and I think a lot of that is because they're running with so many AD carries. We've got Evil Envy, Goonstomp, and Klagstrong. And when you have a team of people that run AD carry, they all know how to protect the AD carry, and I think that Sivir late is going to be able to kind of balloon them over.
The counterpoint to that is if they're all trying to protect the Sivir. Sivir is a very close range AD carry and can get dove pretty easily by the Echo and the Pantheon, as well as the Lee Sin. So it's going to be really interesting to see how well Evil Envy does positioning and spell shielding.
I gotta eat crow for a second too, because on the other side we do have Exia and Brandana, two other AD carries, and of course Ace has put quite a few time in on his own solo queue account onto AD carries, so it's not like we're lacking for people who understand the role here.
And
already got a lot of flashes out.
Yeah, there's a Blitzcrank hook that was right on target that forced out a flash from our Lee Sin player. Interesting side note that Sig on Blitzcrank is running with Hextech Flexception, so he'll be able to use that flash again, whereas Lee Sin will not.
Extra interesting. And Sig is also, wow, only one heal in the game too, so everyone wants to kill each other in this, and that's pretty great.
Let's see, I was starting to fix our... We've got the Van Hohenheim special going on over here.
I hope I steal your blue.
Alright. Does he get it? Does he get it?
He knows it's warded, or he knows they saw the wards, so he just decided to book it.
That's fine, just put a little pressure on him.
Oh no, this is so much worse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 controls your characters, but because I fixed the scoreboard, it's all different. Anyways, Goonstomp is going straight to that scuttle, whereas Exia is looking like he's trying to go buff to buff. We got an early gank here coming out of Goonstomp.
I bet
Oh,
you've been
Lee Sin's in
jungling for 2 seasons. What do you think is better now? Are we better off going buff, or are we better doing the buff scuttle gank?
Buff Scuttle gank is, I think, just way better. Let's see,
Early
is that
aggression. Ow, that's a dead Jarvan.
Oh no, I was so interested in the 2v2 gank where we did capture first blood, so at least that happened. But we got Klagstrong versus Washed Up top laner, immediately asserting dominance over that Pantheon. Oh, it is a summerless Klagstrong though, so that Riven is a little bit exposed, whereas our Washed Up top laner has Ignite left, probably couldn't press the buttons fast enough on account of being washed up.
Pull onto the Lucian in the bot lane. A little bit of fighting going down. Looks like a lot of damage going down onto Team Nickel's bot lane. Forcing a heal out of Ace as they kind of have to give up the lane a little bit. Or at least give up dominance in the lane.
And I think if we haven't extrapolated for our viewers here, the teams are Team Nickel and Team Sig. Those are the fun little overlays that you had at the beginning there. Sig and Nickel, of course, being 2 of our casters who are the ones picking the players. And that's really fun. It's just seeing
Oh no,
what they
Lucian
thought
had to
of
flash.
those teams.
Sorry to interrupt, but that Lucian, our Lucian player Ace was incredibly low off that Ignite and baited out a flash from Evil Envy, met with his own flash to not die. That was a very close match, or a very close fight there. Advantage to Team Sig there with the summoner advantage in the bot lane.
I really like the attempt from Evil Envy, because if Ace did not flash when he did, he would have died to that. So, good heads up play by him.
And sorry to cut you off there, Prowler.
No, absolutely. Action comes first. Don't worry about my silly analysis.
Speaking of silly little analysis, a little fun little note about the early game was, as the bot lane for Team Nickel was returning to lane, they also leashed Gromp for Exia, allowing him to kind of get to that mid lane fight and giving Exia first blood onto Goonstomp.
Heavy trade coming out of top lane. Initial advantage going to the Riven player to Klagstrong, but Wash Up top laner is able to proc that electrocute keystone and actually comes out ahead. So interesting little reversal of power after that first kill.
Really interesting too with Klagstrong's build. He started with the longsword and then a bunch of potions to get him through, and then he goes cloth armor and boots. I'm wondering if he's working towards Ninja Tabby to kind of help with the Pantheon, or if that's just I need a little bit of armor, I need a little bit of speed, and I can get that out of these two. Oh, huge fight coming down in the top lane.
Oh no!
Klagstrong must be down.
I feel like it's more just for the armor and the little bit of movement speed to help with the better trading. I don't feel like he's going to rush Ninja Tabby because it just doesn't benefit enough to rush it, because you need to get that damage so you can start fighting back and snowball that advantage.
Gank coming out of mid lane. Safeguards forward Q's. Gets the flash out of Van Hohenheim, out of the Zoe player. All in all, totally worth
Yeah,
it.
also flashed there.
Forced to flash himself, or I suppose not forced to, but chose to. Just playing a little safe against Zoe.
Yeah, I think he got dragged under turret for the new one and flash back out to safety. But as I think a jungler is always willing to trade their flash for a laner's flash.
Absolutely. Oh,
The only
Van Hohenheim
downside
flashing in.
being-
Ignite's dropped. Pushes R and gets the proc onto Brandana. That's a dead echo right there.
The only downside to flashing out of that tower earlier was it also still gave Zoe the flash, which she was able to make the play onto Brandana in the mid lane there and pick up the kill.
A super sad counterpoint. So Lee Sin has to go in, which forces the flash onto Zoe, which gives her a flash when he flashes out. Did you follow that?
We're playing multi-dimensional chess here, right? Like,
And that's not even just this meta. That's just
That's just Zoe
That's
as a
just-
champion.
just silly Zoe.
We've got a Jarvan working his way into the bot side here. Goonstomp in a great position to pounce onto this Lucian. Does he know? Yeah, he knows for sure as they're crossing over a ward. Exia in position, but a little bit low to try to do anything fancy here. So I think he's just going to disengage. Oh, a big fight into Van Hohenheim onto Zoe here. Ace is able to secure the kill, makes it away without dying, except for that flash forward. Great play coming out of Goonstomp to get the double kill in response to the solo.
And at the same time, there was a fight in the top lane where Riven and Pantheon killed each other. That is turning out to be the greatest matchup. They just keep going back, burning each other with Ignite over and over again. It's fantastic.
Yeah, Riven was able to get the ult off onto the Pantheon as she was dying to tower, so they traded even on kills there.
Gotta love Gym Class Speeders, just early and bloody, and we're not worried about pushing the lane so much.
Meanwhile, the bot lane's looking kind of boring. Only kills down there. Ace has a kill and a death.
And that's
So.
from his roam to mid, yeah. So bot's playing super safe, which, welcome to 8.11 and beyond, folks, and then everyone else is just out for blood.
How do you show the gold? Do you guys know how to show the gold?
X.
That was a better caster, I would.
X.
There we go. I wanted to take a quick second here to take a look at gold advantages across the board. Looks real even. We are at a pretty early stage in the game. Anything sticking out to
That was a nice flashy play there in the bot lane. Unfortunately, it looks like Sig flashed for a pull onto the Braum, which almost turned out into him dying.
So, when Lee Sin goes down to Van Hohenheim, that was an interesting interaction.
That was pretty funny.
Oh yeah, it's so hard to keep track.
Good flash from Ace there, dodging the pull. Followed up by a
Getting a
flash from
dive.
Bandana.
And it will be a double kill. Excellent roam from Brandana coming down for the double kill there.
And Bandana manages to ult so he doesn't die to tower, and he gets a little bit of health back there.
But top lane looks like we have a response that Team Sig is trying to put together. We have a Goonstomp ganking washed up top laner, not so washed up. Has a ward
And this
where
is
he needs it to be.
this is going to be first tower gold going over to Team Nickel.
So
With
you're
Van
going to battle the
Hohenheim,
casters. Team Nickel draws first tower blood.
Van Hohenheim just trying to get some damage back in the mid lane to kind of even that out, but
Fight happens up in top lane. Wash up top laner casually walks up, forces flash out of Riven. Goonstomp tries to get something back out of it, but looks like nothing happens. Exia shows up just in time to make sure nothing more could happen there. Great play coming out of our wash up top laner.
Absolutely, and top lane is... I just want to camp out top lane and keep an eye on it at this point. Everything's happening so fast that you can't even keep up.
Looks like we got
Big
a 3-man
stupid.
here. Uh-oh. They're already in position with 3 to counter gank this gank of 2. Does Brandana make it out? Excellent kick out of Lee Sin. Brandana's trying to make it around. Exhaust comes out.
Exhaust is...
Nickelbacker's bot lane, Team Nickel's bot lane shows up in time though. Can they get it back? Ooh!
Van
Oh my
Hohenheim just
goodness.
buying enough time jumping all over the place to get enough damage off to kill the Lee Sin.
Van Hohenheim trades back, making it a 2-for-2. Cataclysm comes out. Ace does not care. He is going to town. He's got double buffs now. Ult comes out, secures the kill on Evil Envy. Alright, I need to breathe for a second. How about you guys?
And the only player left standing to deny Ace his pentakill is the person who's claimed pentakills twice in Gym Class Feeder so far.
When you can't get a pentakill because you're denied it by the pentakill person. Oh no!
Caught the tail end of a solo kill in top lane. Pantheon introduced his global to Riven. Clag accidentally was under turret range when he got stunned up. That's a rough one.
And Van Hohenheim with a revenge kill onto Ace in the mid lane. Everyone overstaying, everyone filtering in one by one. It's fantastic. It's Gym Class Speeders.
I didn't even notice that. I was too busy watching Pantheon.
You can't possibly keep up with this action.
Oh, we
we're
got a
seeing-
Blitzcrank. What is Blitzcrank up to? Oh, he's just Warden. He's being a good support.
Nice fancy. Oh, that was a lot of damage.
Oh,
Great
Echo just
juke.
dodged the pull. Brandana hopping in, going under turret, and we'll get the kill on the Echo. Echo had ult, so I'm kind of curious what happened there. Did we just forget to push it, or didn't respect Hohenheim's damage?
It could have. I didn't think it happened, but it could have been that he mistimed the sleep and then was slept and couldn't ult. But
I think he was worried about getting back too close where he might die.
guys, high level analysis out of your casters today. I laughed because he died.
I don't, you just have to join in, and I mean that's all you can do. Zoe gets asleep, and then there's just no more Lee Sin.
Goonstomp just barely makes it out of the Dragon Pit just in time for Evil Envy to come and
Where's the
clean up the
flash?
rest of the kills.
Ooh,
Nickel Bossiger will also
Nickel, are you
flash.
gonna live through this? Are you gonna live through this?
Echo's coming in. He
Gets
will
the
get outdrops
stun?
the ult before he leaves.
What
and
a play!
Echo Rin takes the kill. Outstanding.
Uh-oh, there's a sleep on Echo though. Is he dead? No, but almost.
Oh.
Like- oh, there
Now
it
he's
is.
dead.
My God.
I forgot Zoe's on the game. Just give it 4 seconds. Like
I was so happy for a second, thinking like, oh, we got out of there. Nope.
And for anyone who is curious, this is why Van Hohenheim catches Zoe bans in the LCUS.
Isn't this
Also-
is still nerfed Zoe too, right? This isn't the Zoe that was the Zoe of lore.
so. What happened?
This isn't the original Zoe, but she has had a few minor tweaks to get her back up to damage because she did get nerfed into the ground. She hasn't been as oppressive as she was on launch, but with the other team being a bunch of squishies, she's gonna have a lot of fun in this game.
When Riot originally nerfed her, they kind of nerfed her into the ground. I felt personally that Yorick should have been in charge of nerfing it, so that he could just do what he normally does, which is to dig a grave. It's a bad joke. But
It was taking me too long to catch that thing. And I'm the Yorick main, of
yeah,
course.
I was trying to give a shout out to Prowler, but
Well, we all know Yorick's a homosexual man, right? Because he digs graves.
there we go.
All right, I think I have to go.
That's it, folks. Logging off. All right, hopping back to the game. We did see Rifttail get taken. I did not see who collected it though, because I'm just a terrible human.
That's okay. We've got Tab for that. Tab shows us that it went to the Riven player.
Ah, good. So Clagstrong's got it, which means any kill probably means a dead top lane tower.
Ooh, speaking of kills and top lane towers,
Can I oh.
I made it there just in time to see the death animation, guys.
I just don't know what you're supposed to do against the Riven stun into the Jarvan stun into the Jarvan ult. Like,
You die, that's what you do.
poor Pantheon piloted by washed up top lane. He did everything right and still can't live.
Big fight breaking
That was
out.
a
in the
really
jungle.
good silence by Sig, denying the Lee Sin ult.
It ends up being a 1-for-1, but with Van Hohenheim piloting Zoe, it could change any second.
Don't worry, she had blue buff. Because that's what Zoe needs. Ooh, ult coming out of Ace gets the flash out of Evil Envy. In a game dominated by individual mechanical plays that are actually quite impressive. Just another one coming out of Ace. Dive in the top lane. Pantheon decides to ult in, trying to save his turret, but unfortunately, after he lands, he is immediately grounded for the rest of the next 30 seconds.
Washed up top laner, ults into the top lane, and then ends up on the beach like the washed up top laner he is.
And Evil Envy steps a little too close to the wall, and Ace jumps over it and takes him down.
You know what the best part is that we're tied in kills. There's one dragon over in Team Sig. They're up one tower, but the gold is nearly identical despite this absolute kill fest.
There's 100 gold difference. No, now they're tied. Okay, whatever, but that's...
Zoe's 10-3, Lucian is 8-3, and it just doesn't matter. We're all rounded out here.
You see, I think these games are more entertaining than the LCUS games. So I think the casters should just play in there instead of us, and we should just play here, because we're not very entertaining by comparison.
You know, this is kind of like getting insight into, you know, if you could watch, like, LCS practice games where they, you know, just decide to go, like, 5-man Yasuos or, you know, whatever they want to do.
Actually, I would love to watch LCS teams play All for One. That would be amazing.
Right.
They did that at All-Stars a couple years ago.
Yeah, Team Fire versus Team Ice, if I'm remembering it right. I don't remember what the champions were, but just, you know, another
I know they
little
did.
fun thing.
Uh-oh,
Blitzcrank
Pantheon got caught
one of the
off.
years.
Gets stunned by Riven. And
Oh no!
oh, that's an amazing. Blitzcrank is helping. Actually, no, he's just helping. That was helpful. But
For a second there, it looked like Sig had saved Wash up top laner, which, you know, when your caster's looking out for you, that's how you know you're going to perform well.
right.
They do end up getting the kill. Echo gets a 4-man ult. It won't matter. Van Hohenheim hurts too much.
That's an ace for Team Sig here, and not a person went down for Team Sig.
Yeah, it was a clean ace in a 4v5 for the team of 4. So
Exactly what you expect in a completely tied and even game. They didn't even have their ADC. That was just Zoe does too much damage at 12-3.
Well, this is 8-12. Do they need an ADC?
no,
Do you
in fact,
need
they should put
anything
Zoe in
anymore?
the ADC and then pick a support in the mid. I think that's the meta, right?
What even is, you know? Oh man, Zoe hurting the wave like she's hurt every champion, and they're gonna buy her in another Ocean Drake here.
And the rich get richer. No surprises there. Ooh, ult coming out of Ace, trying to corral the Zoe. Boots, feet for days, moves for days. I even forgot how to talk, but nothing much happens out of that.
Van Hohenheim showing his dancing shoes there, blocks the Braum, you know, proc, the Lucian will just dance around like a little tiny girl around a maple. Unreal game so far. This has been truly exciting.
Yeah, I guess we must have caster cursed it because there was like 100 gold difference, and now suddenly there's like a 4,000 gold difference.
Oh, exactly. The second we start highlighting how close the teams are, you know, Team Sig decides to jump ahead.
So
They were
if
just slow playing it for us to point it out.
yeah, that was their go word, was 3 minutes behind when due to caster stream.
Exactly.
Clearly they're stream watching right now. They're like, oh, they said the gold's close. Let's quick get an ace. Is this
Sig
right?
comes
Say like
through
Van
with
Hohenheim
Braum.
is doing a good job and hope that he gets just, you know, 12 and 8 in a few minutes here.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Can I get a scoreboard without a team fight breaking out? Looking
Can you
at
get anything
items,
without a
we've-
fight breaking out in this game?
yeah. Looking at items, we've got it looks like on average about half item ahead on most. Oh, there's that fight. Great Cataclysm coming out of the Jarvan player, locks off the Lucian, who is most of that team's damage, of Team Nickel's damage. That fight gets cleaned up. Echo ult, bringing it back in time, trying to make it away, getting chased down by that Blitzcrank. There was the free flash, not the real flash, coming out of Van Hohenheim Zoe to try to follow. Echo makes it out to safety, just in time to watch his base get destroyed.
This
Yeah,
time
go
it's a 4-for-1 in a 5v5, so little improvement on the side of Team Nickel there. Not
always,
what they're looking for, though.
Team Sig, take note, don't all group because you'll win team fights if you separate, right? Like that's...
I just want to point out that the only reason they didn't get ace is because Echo pulled his Marty McFly and went back to the future there.
Look at this juicy wave in bot lane. We probably have a fight, so I'm gonna go watch that instead. But ooh, that is just that's not okay.
No, they call that damage.
They call it damage. I have a different name for it that I can't say on the street.
Well, no one died though, so that was credit where credit's due. No one died in that, despite the fact that someone got sleep next to a Zoe who is just beyond lethal at this point. So, we'll play
Yeah,
the
we're talking about
Team Nickel.
Zoe's damage, but it was a 1 for 0, and now they're gonna give her blue buff because Zoe, needs it. I want to go back to that last team fight. The Cataclysm by Jarvan to wall Ace in, and kind of pen him into the damage made it so that they won that fight so easily. When he's your main source of damage right now, and you manage to kill him first, then the rest of the team is just an easy cleanup. And I think that's what Team Sig is able to do so well, is fight back to front, because there's just no real front line coming out of Team Nickel here.
There's no real front line from either team, honestly. There's the top and junglers for both teams are just divers. The mid lane for Team Nickel's another diver. We got a trade going on bot lane, but Ace is going to win that fight. Heal and exhaust expended from respective AD carries.
In fact, interesting side note, the bot lane for Team Nickel is the only place that they are actually ahead in gold over their opponents. So that'd be the top, jungle, and mid are seeing significant leads. Fight breaking out in mid. Echo gets caught. Cataclysm comes out. That was a 3 versus 4 that went in the favor of the team of 3. 2 down already. Sleep got stuck by a minion. Flashes are out. Lee Sin running for his life. That is a 3 for 0 and a 2 for 3 out of Team Sig. Meanwhile, Team Nickel is trying to lock down this inhibitor, but how is that going to work out? Blitzcrank and Sig Tau Lord looking to chase this down. Does Lucian get away? I think they do. Let's go see something more interesting, such as the base being destroyed. That's one inhibitor down as the Nexus turrets are under siege.
Ace quickly watching option 12 versus Phoenix last week, trying to take the bot lane inhib while the base is getting just destroyed.
Prowler, as an option 12 player, unlike myself, how did that work out for option 12?
I can tell you that the end result was not in their favor, but the inhib for inhib trade worked out okay.
Yeah, actually, and that's a fair point. So sometimes you just gotta do all that you can do. In this case, Lucian almost got the inhibitor and relieved a lot of pressure because that was 2 members that couldn't chase it down. Zhonya's coming out of Zoe, gets shut down. That is a breath of fresh air for our Team Nickel.
I feel like that interaction can be more closely related to one of the White Wolf Gaming matches last split, where they were trying to get an inhib while the other team was pushing top with Baron, and they were not able to back in time to successfully defend their base.
I do remember that game.
I do too, painfully.
Uh-oh,
And
Jarvan's
meanwhile-
looking for things here. We got a fight going on. Jarvan's looking for it. Do they focus Baron or Jarvan? Jarvan
Nickel
almost got
versus
low enough.
Baron.
He missed his
Clank
smite.
strongest-
There's no smite secure. Okay, finally it comes out of Lucian. Oh, man, that was so close.
Meanwhile, back on the farm, blue team is taking over the bit. Backs are coming through though.
All right, a shutdown going on to Lee Sin. If Team Nickel can hold this, this might be the comeback that they need. This might be the start of that. Currently, they are 8,000 gold behind. I can do math, trust me. But they do have Baron buff this time, so they might be able to actually hold this if they can defend this top lane inhibitor.
This is looking pretty grim for Team Nickel. Looking at structures, they're currently down 8 towers. They don't have any towers left to lose, and all they have left is their Nexus and 1 inhib.
Great
Which the
grab
inhib
coming
is
out of
almost gone.
Blitzcrank, knocking up the Pantheon mid-jump. Fight seems to reset, but they are outnumbered 3-5. Now, history has shown that Team Sig does not mind. Another Zhonya's coming out here. Look at that. Do you believe? Arcane Soda, Prowler, do you believe?
I want to believe.
I want to believe, but I feel like it's just too unlikely. That was really poor on Team Sig's part, staying there 3v5, because the top laner and the jungler were both in base while that fight broke out. Much like when Team Sig took a fight in the mid lane that got them all the way to the Nexus of Team Nickel. They fought when the Lucian wasn't there, which all the money is still currently on that Lucian for Team Nickel. So if they want to win a fight or they want to win a game or win this game, it's going to have to be off the back of Ace right now because he has all of the money and he's got the tools necessary right now.
Guys, I have to bring up a serious accusation right now. It looks like our Nickelbacker here, our beloved Nickelbacker, has been cheating. He's at negative gold, guys. Someone report him, please. Please report him to Riotco.
You know, the other thing is Nickelbacker has a ward score of 1 currently, and Jarvan has a ward score of 50. And maybe that difference in vision is really assisting Team Sig.
Is that actually right?
What if I believe
Never
this?
mind. Cataclysm comes out. Riven comes in, gets a 4-man stun. Riven is trying to solo carry this. Reminds me of all of my bronze games. But let's see. It is just down to Echo. Echo does get a kill and ult's out.
So important thing to note about the Jarvan's vision score. The zombie wards do count towards your vision score, so if he is running zombie ward, it will influence his stats a lot more and make it appear that he was warding a lot more than he actually was.
Well, that looks like the end of game 1. Can Team Nickelbacker come up with a way to take it back and even up the split of the series, or is it just going to be another one of those? Do they let Zoe play Zoe again? Tune in soon for more details.